So what moved you to go public knowing that some people aren't going to like your opinion?
Yeah, I know, and I think I thought about that. I think as we approach this election, as I've watched and felt how I've felt the last 3.5 years during this presidency, that I got kind of emotional about it, and I've never done that in a presidential election before. I always kind of prided myself on listening to both sides, making a decision, not necessarily voting party line all the time. I wanted to hear what the person said, what he would do, things like that, or she. And this was quite different. This presidency is quite different. So I said, I hope I can. What can I do? What else can I do besides vote, which is hugely important? My one vote. And then my daughter, who's a district attorney out here in Seattle, said, "Dad, I'll phone somebody back there in Wisconsin because I knew it was a close election the first time, and see if you can do something else. How do you like that?" And I said, "Yeah, do that." And so that's how it's.
But without your experience in Green Bay, you don't think you would have been at this point of going so public?
Not for the state of Wisconsin. I might have gone. If someone asked my opinion, I certainly would have given it. But no, I think I was struck by how close it was, and as I mentioned to you earlier, our time in Green Bay and our time in Wisconsin as a family was very, very special. And so it touched a nerve in me. And I've never, look at Charles, I've never done this before. I probably will never do it again, but because I'm old now. But I figured out I had to try and do something a little bit more, and this is what happened.
So what's been the feedback? What have you found out since going public?
Well, you get the normal things. I'm not on Facebook or any of those types of things, but my kids kind of keep me informed on what the chatter is out there. And for the most part, people have thanked me for my involvement. But then also there are people that are angry, and how could you say these things, and how could you do these? Of course, I never made any mistakes as a coach. You know that. But, so that's not new for me to get the critical look from both sides.
So let's talk about Joe Biden, because I think one of the issues you saw and know the impact on game day in Green Bay. The president's going to be traveling to Green Bay and Wisconsin this weekend. There are still no fans inside Lambeau Field for games. But the president says, he doesn't get any credit for some ways that he has mitigated the pandemic in doing certain things. And the vice president has said that he's going to follow the science, and some worry that he might shut down parts of the economy again. So when you look at this issue, those small businesses, not only in Green Bay, but across the state of Wisconsin, wondering what's going to happen going forward, what stands out to you with how Joe Biden would handle this crisis?
Well, I think the first thing you talked about, a meeting in Green Bay, I think with the candidates, certainly president, they look at those things quite differently. I think from a scientific standpoint, people should wear masks. You should be socially distant. Should do those things. Those are real things. That's not just make believe. Those are real things. And I believe lately, I think in Wisconsin's had a little bit of a spike in numbers. And so I just pray that the people understand that they have to do those things, even if they attend his rallies, and he does not project that. And so there's a big difference between the two. And I think the pandemic and what's happened to businesses based on the pandemic, particularly in places like Green Bay and smaller businesses and things like that, it could have been better. It didn't have to be this bad. And had the president acted earlier and done some things earlier, but he didn't, and now here we are.
And do you think Joe Biden would do something differently, that he could help control a virus that's very difficult to control, as we're finding out here in Wisconsin with record number of positive cases?
Yeah, he has said that, Charles. I mean, he's made that claim, and he's spelled out a plan. That was the thing that was missing last night from the president. There's no plan. There's just talk, and there's just bullying, and there's just anger. But what is the plan? And let's get down to it. And I think Vice President Biden, when he talked directly to the people, that thing last night, he looked right out there and he said,